Welcome to Tower Dominion, my other game that I am playing, and we're going to work through every character, level them up, play each level of every character. We're going to be playing with this commissioner. She has the ability of spawning one more Grenader every other wave, and she herself, the commander, spawns with every charge. So every time that troops spawn, she spawns with them. Let's load on in. So in the middle, you can see where we have to defend. We have to defend this base from the mobs that spawn. We get a pathway every so often that we have to place, and we can use recon, which you can see here, to re-roll for better pathway. You get recon points, you get supply points that are used to build. Tech can be used to level up, and then in the middle we have our total health. Over on the right, I don't click on it a lot, but you're able to get your threat report to see what you're going to be facing and what the units are, what their strengths are. Every once in a while when we get a boss wave, I'll check on it, and then you can see we have 25 waves. So we're gonna find best way to place. This is just a straight, so it doesn't really make a big difference. And we'll use this heavy gun turret to add some kill points off of our base directly, and then we'll use a Mirador as well. See how this goes. Usually most rounds. That's the first round gone. You can see that, well, let me show you this. So you get to choose out of 3 between each round reinforcement. You can see here that we'll be able to unlock more things as the game progresses. Not this round, but once we beat this round, it's one of the level ups. I do quite like the Miradors. They are a pretty cheap tower defense and have great attack. Adding the special reinforcement, it has what's called detection. We'll go for some supply. It has what's called detection, and you get some mobs that spawn. Just re-roll that. Don't want to have a multi-split. You get some mobs that have camouflage, and so the detection helps to or can see through that camouflage and damage that. Just gonna run another round, try to save. We'll get that barrage that adds an extra 2 gun positions on every corner of the base. We'll get the recon, that way we have extra reroll options. There are some special buildings that they're called neutrals that will spawn with every path placement. Well, not every path placement, but on occasion with path placements. And you can get, let's go supply, probably. Yeah, I'll go supply. Yeah, so you can get recon points at it every round, and you can also get extra supply. So right now we're just getting 100 extra supply every time. We haven't received any neutral buildings yet. Use this. This Puma is pretty good, actually excellent at anti-air, and especially if you choose the anti-air focus, it gives 50% increased damage to against air units, against flying units. That 10% plus the rate of fire reload would be nice. Plus 5 discovery. We're gonna go for that because the discovery is what increases the chance of us actually getting those neutral. 50% plus the anti-air will be nice. I would really like if we could find a neutral building to be able to add 10, 5, 10, 15 to our recon each round. Sometimes it's a hard decision. Neither of those I was super crazy about. We just don't have the supply, the economy to increase our supply. There's a neutral building right there. Those long, pointy, greenish, bluish things are a neutral building. But quite a bit of air units coming across there. Nice to add Puma on that side of the map. If you have plus 10 damage to HP, yeah, that'd be nice to have. There's our first boss wave, so we got a shield, 2 shielded units. One of them comes out of the cave tunneling system. These Imperial barracks, they're quite useful. They have quite the range if you're able to find an area that works well. It's nice to be able to cover like the entry point, to have it pointing towards the entry point. That way you're starting to kill the little buggers right when they come into, there we go, come onto the map. Recon would be nice. Durnal is pretty heavy hitter. Let's get this turned. Durnal is 525. Basically would use everything, but we really need to be protecting our base from air units. We got another wave before we had to deal with the shield. The Durnal is pretty strong, especially once you get the upgrades on it. It's pretty strong against shielded bugs. I don't know what they're actually called, but I always call them bugs. Always gonna go for that supply. We got an advanced. Come on. Oh, there we got our first boss wave coming. We'll get the Durdle. I don't know. It's later where I'm at, so my brain ain't working super great right now. I'm loving this game. I'm having fun playing this game. These light mortars can be useful, especially with the learning machines. It adds 5% increase, and that's every round. It adds an additional 5% increase in damage. Warwolf is super handy. Mirador is one of my favorites, but a Warwolves are great against like packs of smaller bugs. It has a pretty decent explosive round that does kind of like a splash damage. Small issues there with placing that. Now we have air units cutting right across. Yeah, that worked. That worked better than I expected. Be nice to get a second. I'm just checking to see that I have everything upgraded. Be nice to get a second Durandal out there on the field, especially for the left side, which isn't covered. This is only level 1, so it's not like the mobs have crazy HP, and you're not having quite the same number of mobs spawning at once. in the later rounds. 10% damage increase, rate of fire increase, and that puts us up to 75 recon. Sometimes it's good to spin around, make sure you're getting higher terrain. This should give us a good covering on the left flank. So we got the right flank and the left flank with decent coverage from the Durandal. At 150, it'd be great to have this long barrel. It gives us extra range. Because we're next to a neutral building as well, we get additional bonus with that. And you'll notice that some of these upgrades will have that extra bonus here and there. The 3+ Grenadier production would be nice. We're in pretty decent shape. I'm feeling good about it. We'll take advantage of being next to that neutral. You can see that boosted our range quite well. Be nice to get that anti-air on that. Also get long barrel on there. We're not going to get the same level of range increase because we're not next to a neutral building with that Durandal. Getting that gravity well activated would be handy. It adds a slow effect, so it gives all of our might be good to re-roll this. That'll do. It, but yeah, that gravity well will slow all of the mobs that come onto the path, giving our towers more time to do damage. Get this long barrel, and we had a minus 10% of cost on the Durandal. So that only costs us 135 supplies instead of 150. We're up to 15 Grenadiers plus the commander spawning each round. You can see that they do a good amount of damage. They just run right into the mobs and it's a good night. Additional 10% damage rate of fire. That'd be quite handy. Use the Werewolf. Maybe put a Mirador there instead. That has a Werewolf. The explosive damage on it is handy. Both of those towers would be very nice to have, but I like the extra range on the Werewolf. And once we get upgrade on there, it does extra explosive damage. If I had that at a level 0, then it would increase the range even more, but I'm more worried about extra damage than range. It covers a good portion of the map. Not quite what I would want. Definitely prefer having much more recon coming in, but we're not getting the spawns of the neutral buildings that we need. There's a plus 40 supply. I mean, we might as well take advantage of that. Get a Werewolf that's covering the left flank only. 75% damage increase. Increase of range as well. Definitely go for that recon. We're at wave 18. We're in really good shape. Get an extra +2 range on the light mortar. Starts doing damage a little earlier. Not liking how close mobs are getting on the right flank. Thank goodness we're up to 17 grenaders. They're helping cover our butts for sure. Don't really use the salamander a whole lot. Not crazy about that. Got a nice long run where our towers are able to hit the right flank as they walk along that entire area. Another Drundle might be useful. Just see where the coverage is. Still haven't activated that slowing tower. That has pretty decent coverage. I think we'll go with that and then look to unlock the long barrel. I don't ever really use the exposed elements. Exposed elements takes 15% off of the health, overall health of your command center, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Might use the advanced Mirador. We're up to 549, quite a ways away from ever being able to use the Drundle turrets that are on or that are part of the command center. The howitzer and the sanction cannon are very powerful. If you have an area that you can place them, it will cover a good portion of the path. They require a flat space of 4. Got a second nest that we got to deal with here. Might be a good idea to get another Puma on the field. Yeah, the barracks works well there. We have 350, so that'll give us a little extra damage. We're dealing with more air units now. Those air units won't... Oh, there's a little lag there for some reason. Those air units are forced to stay in path, unlike some air units, which can skip over. Get a little extra firepower. That adds an additional gun into our Mirador. If we go down there, the expensive one gives us extra range. That gives us additional weapon and 25% increase of reload speed. And with that being right next to our base, it's kind of like that last ditch effort to knock the units out. Able to add that path in there, which is nice. Gives one less spawn. It's pretty cheap, only 100. Give us a little more damage there, but I'm really interested in how that'll activate the slowing effect at a very low cost. At 100, I may as well place that. Gives us an additional, that'll be 40% damage by the final round. No, it's 5% each, so that's 20% damage by the final round. I was thinking it was 10%, but it's 5% each. That extra 20 HP on the grenaders, 20% HP, would be very nice. would also be very nice to be doing a little bit more damage to the air units. And being at a height level of 3, that gives us a lot of range. You can see those slug-looking things with the yellow eyes. Those buggers can be annoying because just let me add in some troops. Those buggers are annoying because they split. So you kill the big one and it just splits into I think it's 3 smaller ones. And yeah, that can be quite annoying. Let's make sure we have everything unlocked before we place down something extra. 50% damage against shields, additional 15%. Might as well use that. With being right next to a nest, we can use all the extra damage that we can get against shields. Another decent coverage there, and instead of anti-air, we went for 25% increase. If you look there, you can see those big guys with yellow eyes were splitting. Anyhow, on the Puma I did additional 25% of damage overall, instead of going for an anti-air focus. Get that as unlocked, or as upgraded as we can. Same there. Got 1,000 supply to use. Oh, there's one of the recon production increases. We're 1 round away, so kind of useless at this point, but whatever. Put a sturdy bunker there. It's cheap, covers 1 entrance to the map. One of the battle fronts is the technical name. May as well drop these down, get some extra guns. And actually, although I don't use the what are they called? The trench units very often. They are nice with this particular commander because not only do you get extra troops in the trenches to do extra damage, it also adds extra health to your grenadiers. So they're not as easy to kill. One more path to place. That's as good a spot as any. 6 one, half a dozen the other. That's pretty decent coverage on that end. Plus we'll get slowing, 25% damage increase. And might as well go for the anti-air, I think. 25%, 1 target on the sacrifice shells. Yeah, I mean, at this point I think we have a good chance of winning either way. So it doesn't really make too big a difference. It's not the best pathway placement that I've ever seen. Typically you want to try to get them all going down one path singularly, but I mean we're at level 1 of the basic commander, so boy, this is going to be closer than I would like. This is a little stressful. We got way too many units coming through. Holy smokes, down to 400. Are we gonna, oh my goodness. I did not think we were gonna pull that off. There we go, victory! Alright. Unlocked some new doctrines, new hero. Lots of new unlocks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this first episode. I'm loving playing this game. And we got a lot of game ahead. A lot of things to unlock. A lot of fun to have. Well, hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like and a thumbs up, and hope you subscribe, and we'll see ya on the next episode.